All right, so I want to talk about this now under my comment section, because I think somebody left a comment that is a good topic for me to do a video about. And the comment was basically, at the end of the comment was saying these enabling women are those portals from hell. And I would say that they are allowing very low dimensional beings to come into existence. These type of women. So let me start it off with saying exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm probably going to title it, I don't know, because I don't want to offend anybody. But you know the saying, and this is not for every brown woman, but there has been a saying that the most dangerous place for a fetus to be is in the womb of a black woman. Let me look this up real quick. No. Anyway, you've seen that before. The most dangerous place for a fetus to be is in the womb of a black woman. Now, originally when a lot of people first saw that, it was offensive. It was offensive for a lot of people. And when I look at today, and when I have seen that a lot of stuff that's going on in the brown community, it almost seems as if it looks like it is the males that's physically, because the males are the most aggressive. Right? The males are the most aggressive, but when you look at it, a lot of the women do not want peace. A lot of the women do not want peace. And it's not just this generation, because anybody can easily look at this generation and see how downhill, how low the consciousness of brown women collectively have gone, right? But at the same time, when you have a group of young people that are exposed to nothing but depravity, you can't hardly expect anything different. I mean, look at the music. There's no real music for them to listen to unless they go back to something from the 80s, maybe 90s, and the 70s and 60s. I mean, Generation X was the last generation to really hear some real music that really came from the soul. We were like the last generation to really hear some real authentic, organic music. And after that, it just went downhill. So I'm not surprised to see, but even generations prior, a lot of the women were enabling. And so what I wanted to say on my last upload, I was talking about how the creators of the monsters have to be addressed. The creators of the monsters have to be addressed. And I talked about how a lot of the brown women supported people like Fresh and Fit. They supported people like Mr. Kev Sam, okay, or Tommy Soto. They support people like that the most. And the Derek Jackses. They support people like that the most. Somebody's on blowing leaves. If you hear some noise, somebody's beside me blowing leaves. Let me just hold on a second. Anyway, yeah. And then I said, but when it came to men who actually did say nice things and stuck up for brown women, those guys barely got subscribers. And they barely got subscribers. Okay? And so, going back to that comment, you know, the end of the comment was like, are these portals from hell? And I would say, yes, they are, because this is not just related to brown women. This is just in general right here. If you are a person, no matter who you are, who is suffering from very low self-esteem, if you are a person who is, suffering from severe Stockholm Syndrome, which I think a lot of people are and don't know they are. If you are a person that is suffering with a lot of abuse If you're a person that has dealt with have suffered with a lot of abuse, and in the case of a lot of brown women, they seem to be addicted to abuse. And don't always have to be physical abuse, but they have an addiction to abuse. I mean, it's clear that people like Tommy Soto, Kevin Sam, Derek Jacks, Fresh and Fit, their success is largely because of the brown women that they abuse. And it's just making it clear that these women are addicted to abuse. They're addicted to abuse. Now, this is allegedly Rosa Parks, because I know that the whole civil rights things was a farce, right? But I just want to say this: Rosa Parks didn't want to just be known for a person who didn't want to go to the back of the bus. That really should not be her legacy. According to her, she was standing up for a lot of women's rights. I think that's what she said, that she was standing up for a lot of women's rights. Okay, and so, you know, she's a part of a sorority. I'm not sure she's AKA or what she is, but she was trying to get her sisters behind her, get people to stand up for her, and, you know, to try to make it where she would be known for just more than somebody who didn't want to go to the back of the bus. She was very big, according to her, she was very big into women's rights. Because around that time, a lot of women were getting raped. A lot of the brown women was getting raped, and there was absolutely no justice. I mean, they would get raped left and according to people during that time, their accounts, a lot of brown women were getting raped, and nobody cared. And so Rosa Parks was active in more of women's rights, more than not going to go to the back of the bus. And she couldn't hardly get black women, brown women, to back her up. She could not hardly get brown women to back her up. Now, I want to talk about C. Dolores Tucker, because, see, I mean, we can clearly see that something is wrong with this generation. It's clear. Anybody can see that, right? So I want to go back to the generations where they play real music. I want to go back to the generations where people were still people. Okay? So we can see that this goes way back. You can even go as far as back as the Moors. I mean, because the women sat back while these men took white women as their sex slaves, and they just stood back and watched. So, I mean, you can even go that far back. So I get sick of other brown women saying, well, it's no wonder that they go to white women because you wearing weaves. Well, were they wearing weaves during the time of the Moors? Were they wearing weaves then because they went and got a lot of white women as sex slaves? So were they wearing weaves then? I'm sick of brown women. I'm sick of brown women trying to, I don't know what, they feel like, I said this before, that most brown women's crowns are controlled by brown men. Even if they don't want their crown to be controlled. I'm going to tell you, I'll go deeper with that. That's done on purpose. I've seen some stuff that I'm eventually going to say about what I've seen about brown men and what their intentions are. Their intentions are just not for brown women to rise up. And I'm not just talking about what you physically see with your eyes. I'm talking about in the doggone, in 4D. I'm talking about outside of the physical. I see brown men, like they just do not want brown women to rise up. It's like they have to, it's like two people can't be on the throne at once. So they got, in order for them to rise up, they feel like they got to hold brown women down. And so that goes deep, right? That goes deep. Anyway, yeah, so basically, yeah, C. Dolores Tucker waged a war against gangster rap music. C. Dolores Tucker waged war against gangster rap music. And from what I saw, she had a lot of resources. And from what I saw, she didn't have a whole lot of brown women backing her up. So this is the behavior I'm talking about, that brown women, I did a video called Brown Women Have Created a Safe Space for these men to abuse and to murder them, unalive them. Brown women have created a safe space for that to happen. Now, I'm not going to say that these murderers or whoever in the right. No, they're not in the right for what they're doing, because at the end of the day, they should have self-control. So I'm not saying they in the right, but at the same time, When you have a group of women that keep sitting idly by, when children keep getting shot in drive-bys, when little girls and little boys get molested and raped, and you have a group of women that sit idly by like they have no power to say anything, they can't open their mouth, they can't do nothing. And the minute they open up their mouth about some kind of oppression, what comes out their mouth is some dealing with police brutality. That's what used to come out before. You know, like, just recently, a lot of brown women some of them is starting to get to the point where they're sticking up for themselves. But back then, it's like they barely stick up for themselves. You know, because they were, I mean, and I'm not going to lie, they were programmed to only care about the brown male's issues and only, you know, cater to him and not herself. I mean, she was literally programmed not to think about herself. And, you know, when you grow up in a community and you are only exposed to a community with that type of backwards programming, you know, I mean, I can say it's hard to unbreak, but at the same time, I can also say this group of women are very stubborn as well. They're very stubborn. Very stubborn. Okay, because they can see that something is wrong and they don't want to change it because it's really a huge ego problem. Really, you can say it takes years to undo. Well, yeah, it can take years to undo. I can say it takes years to undo if people are actively trying, and you do have some women that are actually trying to undo the type of programming that was done. Okay. And so with that, yeah, I can say it take years, but then when you have some women who don't even care, who not even trying, they don't even care, that's just all ego. They're not, I mean, a lot of what's going on with women that's not changing is because of their ego. So basically, that's what I'm saying. And so, yeah, so when you have a group of women, like with that kind of mentality, that literally enables a group of men that can witness and see a group of men and see the behavior, see how they just run amok the way they do, see the harm that they do to the community, to see the harm that they do to women and children. And they just don't say anything, continue to defend them, continue to support them. And those are dangerous, to end this, those are dangerous wounds. Those are very dangerous wounds. Those are dangerous wounds to come out of. And so getting back to that doggone, that saying that was very offensive, but at the same time, when I look at it, it's the truth. The most dangerous place for a baby to be or a fetus to be is in the womb of what they call a black woman. You know, as offensive as that sounded back then, I'm looking at it right now, and I wonder if they were lying about that. I wonder if they were lying about that. With setting your feelings aside, I wonder if they were lying. Okay? You can't be that low in consciousness. You can't continue to get lower and lower and lower in consciousness. If you continue to get lower and lower and lower in consciousness, the only thing that can come through your womb is a doggone demon. Or what you call demons. You know, demon is not always a bad word, but the way it's been used in society has been used as something that's bad. You know, you can't birth nothing but that because you're too low in consciousness. Okay? So a lot of these women can't even give birth to what you call some of the ancestors that's supposed to be coming back. Some of the powerful ancestors that's supposed to be coming back. A lot of these women are so low in consciousness, they can't even give birth to them. They can't even come through their wombs. And you know what? The thing about brown women is that a lot of them need to breathe. Not a lot of them, but at the same time, you can't separate women from something that they are addicted to. And to be quite honest with you, they are the creators of this problem. And so what it really is going to take is not to just tell them that they need to get away. Yeah, some of us need to get away because some of us ain't got nothing to do with this crap going on. But then a lot of it is a lot of what you see is the creation of brown women. And it's not enough to tell them that they need to get away, because they are a big part of the problem. So if you have some people that are pretty much the main part of the problem, you can't tell them that they need to get away, because they kind of caused it. They kind of keep it going. They are the ones that keep the whole mess going anyway. You know, and so it's almost like the best thing to do is to address these women. However they need to be addressed, these women need to be addressed. They will literally take out other women who try to create a more cohesive environment in the brown community. A lot of these brown women are so freaking hateful, so freaking low in vibration. And that's how they always been. How did these are some women who are, I've said before that they're evil. Okay, they're not asleep, they're evil. I remember saying that. They're not asleep, they're evil. Okay, because you can't be asleep if you are witnessing the things that's happening in the brown community with children, and you witnessing the things that are happening with the girls and the boys, and you just witnessing all of the shootings and stuff, especially when you live in those communities. And that's not sleep. That means they don't care. That's not asleep. If you're looking right, they're looking right at it. They're not asleep because they're looking right at it. Okay? Now, maybe some of the women that grew up in those neighborhoods, maybe they've been so adjusted to that type of behavior that they don't see nothing wrong with it. And with that being said, that's another reason that it needs to be an intervention. Something else needs to come in, because they are unable to make the right. They can't make it. They cannot make the decision on their own. They cannot make the decision on their own. So something else needs to come in and clean up house. But not just in the brown community, the whole thing, everything needs to be cleaned up. Everything needs to be cleaned up, not just in the brown community. I'm just talking about the brown community because, I mean, that's what, you know, of course, I'm a brown woman, so of course that's what I know the most. But a lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up in general, though. A lot of stuff needs to be cleaned up. So that's it. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. You know, I've always thought about this saying the most dangerous place for a fetus to be is in the womb, you know, of a brown woman. And I don't say that out loud because it sounds too cruel to say. Because it looks like I'm talking about myself, and I'm not talking about myself, but this is a demographic of women. Collectively, it is dangerous for them to carry children. It's dangerous. Because they love their abusers. They literally love their abusers. They would give their abusers money to keep abusing them. Fresh and Fit ain't going nowhere as long as brown women are around. It was white people that decided not to monetize their channels. It was white people that decided that they cannot use the studio. Brown people, if it was up to brown women, they would still continue in their abuse. Now, something recently happened where I guess, you know, Funky said something about Chloe Bailey. And now brown women are reacting and they are, okay, you know, that's fine. It's time for women to stick up for themselves. You know, it doesn't matter if they're not perfect. Because people keep wanting to bring up the fact that they're not perfect. I don't care if I'm not perfect. You know, that don't give you a right to be abusive. And when you talk about a group of women who's not perfect, who is? Tell me who's perfect. And then they want to go and get another group of women that come from a completely different type of community and compare them to the women in a very dysfunctional community. Well, you know, you let those women come up in the brown community and see how they turn out. Okay? You can't compare a group of women that come from a community that's a lot more stable and compare them to the brown women, because they come from a different community where they have different beliefs. They have different values. So how do you compare? But you can't get brown women to leave a community that they created the community. They created the community. They birthed the community. So you can't get them to leave a community that they birthed. That means there needs to be an intervention. Something needs to happen, because you can't get them to leave. They birthed the community. They birthed the very men that are abusive. They birthed them and they defend these guys. So you can't get them to leave because they are the problem. They are. The men are the problem because they are the aggressors. And men just have a separate, it's just a separate set of issues that's going on with men. But as far as the brown community is concerned, the brown women are huge enablers. They're huge enablers. The way brown women treat their females, I don't know, just little girls in particular, and their daughters or whatever. I used to always hear this. When a little girl would get raped, molested, or even if she was like little girl, teenager, and she agreed to engage in sexual activity with the older man, probably 25, 35 years old. The fact of the matter is she's still a minor, she's still a kid, but you will have a lot of brown women that say, well, she shouldn't have been so fast. And here's the thing, when that same thing happens to a boy, when a boy is raped, when a boy is molested, or say a little boy is having a relationship with a grown doggone woman that's about 30, 40 years old, and he's a boy. Nobody says that he's a hoe. Nobody say that he shouldn't have been so fast. They will hop on that woman, and rightfully so, because she's a grown woman. So they will hop on that woman, and rightfully so. But when it comes to the girl, when the same thing happens to a girl and it's a man, they will say, well, she shouldn't have been so fast. See, these group of women are so quick to protect these guys who are abusers. They are protecting them. And their protection, the protection of these kind of guys need to be removed. And that's a lot of brown women. Basically, a lot of brown women need to wake up and see if they are actually protecting them, because you might feel like you're not protecting them because you feel like you're not doing some of the things that you see other women so blatantly do. But a lot of us are protecting them in a way, and it could be family members. It could be anybody that a lot of us protect them when they don't deserve protection. So it really is a lot of us protect them, even if we're not doing the things that even though we're not doing the things that we see other brown women do that's clearly a sign of mental illness, even if it's not as blatant as these women, or as overt as these women, a lot of us still engage in some kind of protection of these men, even if it's small, okay? And they just need to be cut off. A lot of them, if they are not showing that they have your best interest the way you have their best interest, even if it's your brother, if they're not showing that they have your best interest, they just need to be cut off. They just need to be cut off. They don't need any support anymore. That's it. And a lot of brown women are not going to listen to that because they cause this. Let me just say they are the problem. Is you cannot keep talking to a group of women that are keeping this going. They are purposely keeping this stuff going. You can't talk to them. Now, it's other women who get it, and so people say, well, this brown women are waking up. Yeah, there's going to be some that's going to get it, but at the same time, you got to look at the creators of the problem, and the creators of the problem are brown women. The creators of the problem are brown women. Okay? But with that being said, I'll talk later.